extended break during the pause. So in just a moment, we will be going to a third map, and that map will be Dragonshire.
Chosen by RRR. Actually, a little bit surprising. Maybe they want to go in with and choose some globals here, as this map, the top lane, the solo lane war, has been the main key point every single time in the draft. And we saw lots of Sonias before Genji, but now Sonya appearing all the time. Leoric sometimes, but not as much as Sonya or even Marthale sometimes.
Yeah. So solo lane's so important on this map because the lanes allow you to control the shrines, and I hope we see some Sonya. Would love to see some Dami Sonya, but let's see how the draft pans out. I was about to say, the first lock-in Sylvanas ban is not a thing. I don't think we're going to see Mage play here. We did see Sake's Jaina on this map, but that was definitely one of our more interesting series here at the second half of Phase 2. I don't know if that was completely serious or just a little bit of fun out of current undefeated MVP Black here in HGC Korea. I think we'll see a more standard draft out of this team. That when I see those lock-ins or the heroes flying through the bans, makes me feel like we're having a frustrated team here right now.
Yes, I think they're having some communications in the team. Of course, Lily will not be banned.
Keep in mind that if RR wins one more game, the very likely scenario is that Raven will be 3-0'd by L5, and that will basically almost guarantee RR 7th place. So their goal is to win 2 games in this series.
Now they are tied.
Yes, now they are tied, which actually would potentially create a tiebreaker for them for 7th and 8th place. I don't know about that. That was never a BlizzCon contention spot or a Crucible contention spot, so won't necessarily matter, but because they're 1-1 also part 1, part 2. All right, we're going to see support bans here.
As expected, but Uther also banned. Seems like, yes, Miracle was going towards the Morales as they're already onto the support choke. Seems like Morales for the win tonight, I believe. 100% win rate.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. 3 for 3 wins tonight. And question now becomes, where does RR go from here? They have lost control of support and sustain. And I think that if the mage meta becomes a thing in Korea, when a draft like this occurs with 2 support bans and a Morales ban, you take the mage route, like burst mage route, if you're RR here. Will they be confident enough to do that? I don't think so. Again, this is all just theory crafting, right? I'm not trying to say this is the correct way or this is the new meta. Seems like it might be leading towards that. They're going to bring Vala, though, and Lucio, so not willing to go down the mage route. We'll still go for double support hyper carry here in the Vala.
Morales would bring lots of sustain in the bottom lane, or if they swap lanes, of course, another lane. But with Vala auto text, they will also have damage sustained, so they will get some healing off of making the gauge better use of Morales, drying that out so they can win the bottom lane. But it seems at the moment it's pretty tough to actually force out anyone along with Morales. Even with Vala, Lucio healing is not as much compared to Morales for sure.
Definitely going to struggle in terms of output, yeah, with the new reworked Morales especially. So, possible heroes to pick here. Obviously, we've seen the Greymane with this composition before. We've seen Tracer more than anything else. That's what we saw in Game 1 on BOE from Miracle. You have to imagine that's the direction they're going to take us as well, even though they don't have the Lucio for the burst support. So there it is, Tracer Tyrael. And this looks like a very standard comp now in terms of today's mini meta on our first day on the Kel'Thuz's Odd patch.
It could just be the exact same draft coming out from Miracle, along with another secondary support and maybe a Marthale to do some percent damage onto the Dragon Knight and the tanks onto the other side. If Aura does not bring too much CC, I think Miracle will take the same exact draft. What do you ban here? There's Tyrael already picked. Support DPS.
Maybe a Tassadar. Tassadar or potentially Rhaegar, I suppose. Rhaegar's not that great with Vala. Can work well, though, with the front line of Miracle. Either that or you take the solo laner approach. Ban something like Malthael if you're not going to be running that. Sonya, also a good ban here because it pairs well with Tyrael. But it will be the Malthael ban.
They're pressuring a little bit more onto the solo lane. Maybe they're thinking of their own Sonya pick.
Could also be the thing about Dahaka, which would struggle in that matchup, but now is a really strong extra power point in terms of what they can pressure. Even if it is up against the Sonya and the Dahaka struggles versus the Sonya, the global effect will not be as minimalized by a Sonya as it will be by a Malthael. So I think that's probably going to be the go-to here in terms of solo laning. We don't know second support. Rhaegar is a good option. I think Kharazim is better, personally. I think you can lane swap with that, and you can have a lot more mobility for
Also,
the heals that, you don't require that burst for Vala.
and also late game, Kharazim is a very big threat to Tracer, actually. But
Yeah.
that's only if you can actually be about the same level in the late game. If you're snowballed even before, it could be a big problem. Maybe seven-sided, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards Palm this time. They lacked all the defensive tool at set number 1, and Divine Storm seven-sided did some damage and stun lock, but it was not enough, as you saw.
Tassadar, I totally forgot about him because I was thinking that was the direction that Miracle might want to go to. He's going to be the secondary support here, so toss out everything we said about the Kharazim. This was the obvious choice. Johanna is a pretty strong choice as well. It's been one they favored today. This will be the second match in a row playing her. Will be used to blind the Tracer and has excellent wave clear. So RR is winning the wave clear department big time right now. So the 4-man is going to be very difficult for Miracle. And I like this pick given that the ETC is banned. ETC can be a soft counter to this kind of play. Even though they already have Tyrael, ETC can shut down those heavy wave clear pushes by threatening with power slides. No longer available. So solo laners available that pair well with Tyrael are really Sonya, and I suppose you can make a Dahaka argument here. Rhaegar comes in. Leoric, not the one that we were thinking of. Doesn't gain much from Sanctification.
Maybe, I think it's more for the lock-in as you don't have too much CC. And, of course, Lucio has wall ride, and oftentimes against the Vala we see in Korea to lock Vala in, the DPS who cannot escape from the Entomb. We see a lot of Leoric to trap her down. Maybe that's the source. And Tracer can have easy pulse bomb onto perfect target when they catch multiples there. What's your last solo lane though? Of course, Sonya will win lane against Leoric hard times.
It's tough, man.
But do you go for global and just pick Dahaka here?
I think I'd rather have Dahaka than Sonya with the draft they have. They have double support that can empower the DPS of Sonya and can help shut down Tracer if Ancient Spears are hit. It's a big risk, though.
Also, isolation onto support has been the way to go for lots of Korean teams. Zagara!
Okay, this is a really interesting choice. We've only seen this in Korea from Blossom so far. It was Wiz who played it in the top lane. It was a Nidus play on Cursed Hollow. This can win, certainly against Leoric. It's not a massively favored Zagara matchup, but range versus melee is always a way to go in that top lane. Has the global, so a different type of global than the Dahaka we were predicting. Let's see if they can make this happen. I'm liking the intelligent draft here from RRR. I think they could make this work potentially. They won last game, they got the momentum. Let's see if they can go to match point as we head in game number 3 on Dragonshire. In blue, MVP Miracle, Judy. in the top lane on the Arc. Dami on Rhaegar, Jaehyun on Mirage, Crazy moving on Tracer, and Sniper on Tyrael.
And in red, RRR. Odak on Vala, MSG on Johanna, EGZ on Tastar, Kong on Zagara, and Phantom on Lucio.
Isn't it crazy to remember that the top lane was never as dominant as a lane that was required as a solo lane as it is now in today's meta? It was never as required, but on larger maps it was really important. Harkens back to the old times of when we had Sky Temple dominated by Sylvanas versus Falstad top lanes, Zagara versus Falstad, Zagara versus Sylvanas, and so a lot of the time you countered that with like a Zeratul, right? These last pick Zagara picks have been tough to counter because they're usually picked last. They are a strong matchup in the solo lane. They give a global that you don't really expect in draft. My problem with the Zagara pick is that there's already a Tracer in the game.
That's true.
If you split push or if you push too hard, you find yourself vulnerable to a pulse bomb very quickly.
Yep, and oftentimes after watching the level 1 infest coming out from Zagara, I think Zagara will be staying in lane almost forever. Taking control of the pressure into the lane with extra minion power.
Okay, well, 3v1 down here. They're going to swap this one. Looks like we're just going to have a potential rotation down right now. MVP Miracle's actually being a little bit indecisive with how they want to deal with this right now. And Leoric is not getting as much done in the top. They're not getting as much done in mid. Like, RR is actually dominating because they have such great wave clear. Crazy Moving is in trouble. That was a close call. Lucio nearly getting the final shots there. But no pick, no cigar, because obviously, and I'm not referencing Tychus, rip the cigar. You know, the healing coming up so quickly for Tracer means that even if you get down to 1 health, she'll be back immediately. Here's a rotation down from Sniper.
Let's see, they're trying to punish as Tracer is also coming down. Maybe enough damage with the Pulse Bomb. Not onto Phantom.
Oh, not quite. They're going to deny this for a time. Longer sustain for MVP Miracle, but better wave clear and still really good sustain for RR means that it's also only solo target sustain kind of in a way, so RR just presses E for Phantom and everybody gets healed. Zagara's winning the top lane. This is a 1 early game with the Zagara pick and the wave clear that RR has. They basically have won both lanes, you know? You think of this map as kind of top and mid and bot, the solo and the 4-man, and RR is dominating both with this comp that's so good in the early game. And because Tracer's been so unwilling to look for ganks, like look at Zagara in the top lane right now. It looks like Dami's going to try for it, but I think this is still okay. Full creep spread. A Tracer would have been a pick here, though.
Yes.
Like, that would have been a Tracer kill for sure.
If they had Pulse Bomb, yes. But that was just enough. So Tracer was staying in the bottom lane. I think that's why Kong overextended a little bit, because he know where the rest of the damage relies on.
Was very calculated as well. His retreat got off on creep.
This is very smartly and brilliantly done from RR. Even with the Morales, they can't really push in. Vala doing tons of damage, and that's all because Zagara has been pushing lane. Another extra source has to be used to rotate it top all the time.
Yeah, and that means that the bot lane push gets stronger, and they haven't been able to get a single kill here onto Kong.
So far, this Zagara pick it's working beautifully.
They are killing it right now. This draft is really intelligent, and I like it even more when I see it in practice, because what can Miracle do now? If they leave the top lane, Zagara wins there, they have to just try to minimize the damage pre-10. They could win fights after 10, but it seems like before then they are just out of luck, man. Sniper nearly goes down to this consistent damage output. They lost a fort. They might lose 2. They have control mid, so this won't be a Dragon Knight despite the channel.
So they're doing the maximum push. They're snowballing this hard from the early game. They need to do this before 10 because Miracle will have such a nice tool to actually win the team fight against all these actions. Zagara will get picked off if he barely survives over the wall here.
That's not when you want to try to go for a Zagara pick. You want to go for it when the Zagara is pushing the towers, when Rhaegar tried to do it, so they thought maybe they could get lucky with this one. They will retake the shrine, but I mean, the bot push is going to start hitting this keep wall. And Miracle has no globals. They have no way to deal with this.
Once again, Zagara forced the big rotation from Miracle. What is Morales doing here alone? Not much.
Tossing some grenades to try to knock these guys into the cannon tower range.
Let's see if they can actually get picks here as Johanna will try to slow them down.
Good condemn. Very low here, though, is MSG. Judy with a huge slow.
Getting 5 man here, but they
Sniper.
have sustain. Phantom.
Shield Glare gets the kill, but it's going to be a trade.
And meanwhile, Zagara has been getting all the shrine and...
Not going to happen. Jan's already on it, sadly. Well, that was the first win for MVP Miracle. It looks like the Siege Giants will finally go get cleared up now. But I feel like RR is still massively ahead. Miracle needs 10. If they have 10, they can use Entombs to engage. They can use Sanctifications to win longer team fights. But, God, even then when I think about it, I'm like, those Entombs have to be perfect every time. They don't have much other engage. Like, maybe with even Judgment needs to be considered here because in terms of the wave clear, like, they are going to lose every time, and they're going to start to lose objectives. This is going to be the first one, potentially. EZZ's channeling. There's the Unleash. They have 10. MVP needs to get back so fast right now. Maw, not even the commitment to Nidus here, because I guess the Tracer pick could counter that. They're going to just look for that other answer in team fights. What a draft, man.
Team fight and also plus... Maul can just be used as a defensive tool to make sure Zagara traps in few of the enemy and just escape with that CC available. Doesn't also can be a plus during the team fight.
Well, this is going to be a whole fort down. Dami soaked bot to try to get 10. They're about to have it. I'm just a little bit speechless, and I can't even bat at Miracle. Like, this is just a really good draft. The execution is good.
It seems like it's very practiced, and Maul against Morales, I think, will be a very big tool if they can actually get Morales during team fights. They will be lacking heals.
It's kind of like if you can use it correctly, it's kind of like a better version of Cocoon. You know what I mean? You can use Blessed Shield to set up as well. That's what MSG wants to do here. Okay. Looks like they're going to try to bait out a big fight. Everyone's getting clumped up here. Kong.
There's an Entomb onto the tanks. Even Vala caught, but the strafe is doing so much damage. The damage output is insane. Crazy moving almost goes down. Is blinded, but does get the heal.
Okay, good Ancestor here with the Sank. MSG needs to back off. Sound Barrier well timed. It's these crazy range DPS top players, man, that will surprise you in situations like this, how much damage they can do. Maul was the only thing not used, basically, out of all the heroics here. It is going to be standard heroics on the side of Miracle. Just to bring some history up, by the way, this is Kong's old position when he was on Mighty. Oh, man, look at this.
For the trap, and Dami is zoned out.
He's blocked by the Maw. That was totally intentional. Max value Maw. And MVP Miracle is in some serious trouble here. They've been in trouble all game, but it's getting worse and worse by the moment.
That's how you use the Maul, trapping Morales and zoning out the other enemy. Perfectly done by Kong there. They're going in. They want more kills. As Strafe and Blessed Shield will be coming back online very soon.
Okay, so this is going to be a push to 13. Very close. This fort should put them maybe like 90%, 85. Clear is complete here. That's at least one thing they've got going for them. But, I mean, let's talk about this for just a second. Kong was basically considered like a Zagara Sylvanas 2-trick. Not a 1-trick, but a 2-trick. Him and Wujie back on Danawa Joker in 2015. He has so much experience playing in Super League on this hero. He was once like basically a Zagara main when he was on Mighty, and before that, various other teams. So to see him play this hero again feels very reminiscent of 2 years ago. And this is one of those things where we would see Duck Duck pull the hero out sometimes, right? Because he was really good at it. We see Ujay pull it out from time to time, and now it's, of course, you know, Kong playing it. And it's one of those things that surprises you, but when you look back at history of this player, and when Maul was meta and when Zagara was first pick, first ban oftentimes, black cards and things like that, it makes a lot of sense that we see this, and the play is good.
Black cards.
I know, I said it. I had to say the B word, man.
Oh, man. So much BM from Wolf, you know. Well, it's their experienced heroes, and it worked before, and it's working out again, which I don't think Miracle realized that this was happening this entire time. And Kong has not died even once in this game. and really see all the rotational work on top. Even had to get the camp to get the pressure onto the top lane. Now they have to make this big rotation, even Hearth back home, and then deal with this. So they waste so much time because of that one pick Zagara there.
What you have
They're
to
going for the unleash.
Oh, they're gonna get it too. I think the mini wave. Yeah, I think so. Look at that. MSG comes over. No one can steal with this. MVP Miracle's getting so out rotated right now. It's like, it feels like I'm watching like, I don't know what, L5 versus like First Family or something, like group stage round of 8, man. Like, someone will get that reference besides UG Clef, but like, this is a just utter destruction. This is one of the games that shows you that intelligent rotational play and good wave clear, good solo laners can actually win games when this is one of the most one-sided games we've seen tonight with 3 kills total at 10 minutes. It's not kills always and team fights that win you games, especially on Dragonshire. It's intelligent rotations. It's smart macro play. This is the kind of play that made TNL famous.
I think it's about the time we see some stim drones coming out after the blinds. There it is. The pink tracer is going in with the pulse bomb.
Oh, but the sound barrier is so well timed. So well timed. Oduk still in trouble here. Strafes back here. EDD doing the extra damage here that she can. She's going to pop out here. Will be a dimensional shift. Condemn used here to help slow everybody down. The retreat is real. They get a keep.
And if they can just have a safe exit, no, they're going to turn this around. Get Sniper.
Too late is the Ancestral. That's a double. This could be the team wipe to win the game. Getting a little bit of chills here, G-Clef, as I feel like we're watching history made tonight here. RR with this win, if they take it with this push, will likely take 7th place. Will not be in that last place spot going into Crucible. They're going to go ahead and attack the core now. Not enough DPS here with just crazy moving on the Tracer. RRR is going to take this win, advance to match point. Kong will be taken out, but playing his old hero from 2015, 2 years later, coming back here.
Core's going down, enough shield, enough health for all 4 of them left. That's Core going down, and game 3 going to RRR. What happened to Miracle here?
Oh, I mean, they just didn't know what to do, and one of the most important things as a Zagara player to understand is where you're standing in your lane. Every lane has, and every top lane especially, has a imaginary line in the middle, right? When you are pushing the lane, you step over that line, and that's when ganks become strong. What he was able to accomplish, what Kong was able to accomplish, was only step across the line and push to do siege damage when he had vision of everyone on the other team. Otherwise, he was back. The one time he was vulnerable, the one time the entire game, was when Dami tried to gank him on Rhaegar, and he escaped. That was the one time he was ever vulnerable, when he was across the line where he didn't have vision. Every other time he was in the right place.
Yeah, back then when Zagara was a pick, there was lots of threat when there's a 0-2 on the other side, or something like Murden that can come with the gank, body block, and CC. But there's nothing like that from Miracle. There's no ETC on the other side, and that last final pick when they saw there's no counter to Zagara at all. What a pick, and how they executed in that game was nearly perfect. Miracle had no idea how to deal with Zagara, and they are experienced players, but after those picks, no way.
Well, we said there was going to be there wasn't going to be a commercial break. We lied. Also, pineapples aren't good. We'll see you guys in a few.